Hello everyone, I'm Tuco. Welcome back to another episode of the LTR Structures Reforged series. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Gondorian Watchfort. So behind me we have the nicely and newly reforged edition. And over to my right here we have the current Gondorian Watchfort. Now first things first, with this structure I suppose, it is attached to one of the structures that I just showed a little while ago. It is the Gondorian Beacon Tower, and so I'm not going to really be looking too much at this structure because, well, I mean, we already covered this in the previous episode, and the reason why I connected it was because this one was also connected to it, and I decided we should probably keep this kind of close to the original as possible, and so I tried to do that with this structure. So first things first, let's get started with the exterior and overall design of this tower. So as you can see, quite like the previous one, we are using quite a lot of arches, just because in all of the kind of architecture that I've been seeing with Gondor, especially in Minas Tirith, there's a lot of arches and a lot of really like thick columns to support all the heavy stone that they are using in these structures. And so I continued with that and using these big pillars as well as some wonderful arches. I even have kind of a curve going on here with this structure, making it a bit rounded, unlike this one, which is quite square and kind of plain. So I decided to turn it into a round structure, and also with the arches, I made those as round as possible. And honestly, I think they turned out quite nicely. Also, all the windows, of course, are iron bars because this is a fort. I mean, it's not going to be glass panes or anything like that. And of course, with the roof, it is a nice domed roof, quite similar to the Gondorian Beacon Tower. And also we have the, I'm not really sure what you'd call them, but these nice arches on all the sides of the dome here, just to make it kind of stand out a little bit more. And honestly, I quite like the depth that goes on when looking at it like that. So anyway, let's get started with the interior here. And so if we come through here, we will find ourselves in the armory here. So we got some nice Gondorian armors, some weapons here, and some torches just to light the place up. We also have some nice arches going on here because, like I said, I decided with Gondorians to use a lot of arches, and so you're going to be seeing that quite a lot in these structures that are going to be coming up. So this one here, this room, this level, I suppose, is the mess hall. So we have got some nice tables and chairs here. We've got some mugs and plates. Got ourselves a nice little furnace here with a barrel of booze and some crafting benches, as well as a cauldron with some nice water in it for a sink. And we also have some chandeliers here to light the place up because I couldn't find any room for torches, so I just I decided to use chandeliers for the rest of the build's lighting. So up here we have a really cramped bedroom. Now I was going to make them into bunk beds like I usually do, but I couldn't move to the different beds. With it being one bed, I can actually walk around 360, but when they were bunk beds, that was quite hard to do. Plus, I couldn't even put a ladder in here because of how constricted I am, especially because I used these arches here. Now, if I didn't use the arches, I probably could do a bunk bed, but I quite like the arches, so I wasn't going to get rid of those just to get some extra room. And up here we just have a almost common level in the tower where, I mean, it's a nice little lookout here. You come out here to kind of take a surrounding view of all the sides of this wonderful fort. You can come up here, and very nice. And of course, this also leads to the bridge, which I'll be getting to in a minute. But first things first, we're going to take a quick look up at the commander's, I guess, quarters. So up here we have some chandeliers to light the place up, some nice structural support, as well as, of course, the table command, which is coming in with all of these structures. We're adding a lot more of the table commands, as you can see. And I did it similar to the Rohirrim fortress, in which I had basically the stairs surrounding this here, just to make it look like it's a map laid out on a table. And really, I do like the effect that it gives. Also because it's got a little bit of depth there. It looks like it actually is standing out from the rest of the table. It looks really nice. We also have a nice little desk here with plate, as well as some nice wardrobes for the commander, as well as, of course, some nice flowers just to decorate the place, as well as his armor, and of course chests as well as banners to remind the commander of I guess his loyalties, where his loyalties lie. And then, of course, we have the bridge here. Now, if I can get off here, I can show you guys the bridge in full glorious view. I really like how this turned out. This turned out very nicely. As you can see, this one's quite plain and might even have a tough time actually standing. But with this one, we have some nice arches to keep this thing up and standing and proper. That way, not any orc can just topple this place over. We also have, again, some very thick columns. I really think thick columns is the way to go with the Gondorians here. And honestly, for structural support, very nice indeed. We have some nice details going on, of course, in the actual arches here, just, of course, to give it some extra depth, extra detail. Make it stand out a little bit. Plus, Gondor is, of course, one of the major factions, major factions for the men. And, of course, they're going to have quite a bit of money, of course, to detail all this stuff. And, of course, we have some nice Gondorian banners across the side here. And, of course, dotting all around the structure itself. As well as a nice roof here. I know this one didn't have one, but I decided, you know what, it'd be a good protection against, arrows. You fire them, with a nice arch, and they hit people on the bridge. Not the greatest. So I decided to add a roof here to prevent, I guess, arrows, straight arrows that come straight out of the sky, I suppose. Also, just to prevent against any weather. That way, plus it looks nice. It looks very nice. Of course, it's connecting up with the tower here, this beacon tower of Gondor. Just kind of straps on itself here to the actual tower. And of course, I'm not really going to go into much detail with this one. It's quite, well, it's identical. It is identical to the other one that I showcased just a little while ago, actually. But anyway, guys, I do believe that's going to do it for this episode of the LTR Structures Reforged series. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please be sure to hit that like button. As always, I'm Tuco. God bless, and I'll see you guys next time.